How are things going for you? I know it's transition time and starting kind of a team, not from entirely scratch, but from a coach's perspective, kind of. Just how are things going?
Yeah, things are good. We're in the thick of it. It's not like, I know you guys are here. First day of practice was yesterday, but this group's been together since the summer. 2 months in the summer. You give them August. Now we're in our third week now. So we're into it. The part I love is there's great chemistry, and I think understanding of who the men are in the locker room, and I think there's a good fabric there of just competitiveness, of a willingness to make this about each other, and that's shown up consistently, I think, for this group and their work effort and ethic. So stepping in on the floor each day, it's been good. It's been like for most, but I think there's just been a consistent work about this group that really excites me.
And I know obviously you were here as an assistant. You and Scott Nagy share a lot of similars, and I'm sure there are differences as well in philosophical, style. How are some of the guys that have played under Nagy now kind of understanding your ways and kind of that chemistry building and kind of understanding each other?
Yeah, I mean, Coach and I, we're just different personalities, so that takes over everything. Coach has his ways. I'm a different person, a different man, and the leadership of the program it is me. It's my personality, my moral compass, all of it, my vision, but it is equal to our players. We lose a handful of guys last year. Now the leadership and the team identity, it's less about a scheme. It's less about, it's all those things, but the main thing is just the personality of the heart of the guy leading. So that's taken shape organically. I haven't stepped into any room and I told him this. I got to be all of a sudden the most important guy in the room or try to step in and be something I'm not. The main thing, the group's tired of losing, and I'm tired of losing. We've won an awful lot here in the last 2 years. It's just been that they keep you up at night. And the great thing, again, I'm not having to explain that to a new group, a new staff. They know it. So we're just letting that lead it and letting that just be kind of a simple mindset for us.
Seems like you've added some real athletic pieces here. I watched as a group, it just seems like a bit more athletic team.
Yeah, that was our intention with our spring additions. We're trying to infuse a team that I think has a lot of IQ and obviously very cerebral. And you look at Keaton, Norris, Andrew Wellage, Alex, Brandon, those guys are all great feel, good. Now we're trying to translate and infuse one athleticism, but all that IQ and feel that you have offensively, it needs to serve us well defensively. And there has to be an identity and an understanding of what that looks like, how we organize it, how we practice it, and equip their minds because they're smart kids. So it's yes, athleticism, but it's also trying to know our older guys and teach them the game from a defensive standpoint so they can really take control over it.
How about Keaton coming back after a year? What does that add?
A ton. I mean, I could not state enough how critical he's been for our team. I mean, the leadership, the mentality, the day in and day out work ethic of just, again, I use the word humility a lot, very blue collar, very serious, very driven. He had to sit out for a year when he's contributed to an NCAA tournament team and played 23 minutes a game as a freshman, and then to have a disappointing sophomore year where we all, failed. And then he has to sit on it for another year and watch again more. So he's a motivated man. And in all of college sports, what is your motivation? Why are you here? What is your passion? Keaton's is he could not be a better leader in terms of his heart and why he's doing this.
He sat, that was his choice?
Yes.
Yep. And just you had veteran
his
players.
Choice, you have Trey and they play a similar position. And so I think that was some of it. And Keaton knew just in terms of leadership of the team, it was Trey and Tanner's team. And I think when I watch Keaton, a big part of his on-court moxie confidence is being a leader, stirring the drink, organizing it, talking us through what we need to be doing. And he knew he just couldn't quite step into that out of respect for Trey and Tanner, even though they saw his value. I mean, there was a lot of guys that we all wanted him to play last year, but I think he wisely chose to choose his own path, and I'm thankful he did.
And he's back. He's different, you think, than when he left? Or
Yes, Keaton.
Not?
Yes. He's he knows who he is. Making that decision. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about the basketball and how he's worked out his skill, and he's quicker, he's leaner, but I see a young man that is a young man now, and he's made some decisions. He's made those choices. He's owned some things that allow you to arrive at a point of growth, and I see a lot of it.
Brandon Knoll.
Yeah.
What's he add to you guys? I mean, first of all, how did you hang on to him?
With an honest conversation, and I did not hang on to him. This program, our players, his teammates, his roommates, our fans, the previous winning, Loud and Love, just all these, like he's been a fan of the program. When we recruited him, he came to our conference tournament, in which we lost to UIC. But he's been a fan. He knows the league. Like he is a dying breed of college athlete, but he loves Wright State. His family loves Wright State, and he is, again, very driven to correct, these last couple of years, and he really wants to contribute to winning. He really wants to contribute to an NCAA tournament. So when I step into it and we're talking about we need to do this, that, and other, they're eager. They want more and more of, the things I think are hard for guys to hold on to, just being uncomfortable defensively, your effort, all those things. Brandon and Keaton and Alex have led the charge.
What's the next step for Brandon? Obviously, we've seen him growing as a leader last year a little bit more, but is there another level you'd like to see to kind of get out of him and get that physicality? And
yes, owning the moment and knowing when things are good or bad, and everybody's kind of looking around for somebody to not only get a bucket, but just impose your will physically. It's him. He has to lead that charge, and I just felt like our league, in the perception of Wright State, it's been less fear of our intangibles and our physicality and more fear of our offense, and that needs to end. And Brandon understands that, and he knows if he can overcome some of that, it starts with, again, similar to Keaton, him knowing who he is. But Brandon, he can be the most physical, gifted kid on the floor every night. He needs to let that lead, and then let the production just fall in line. But he knows that the bright lights are going to be on, and he's ready for it.
Isn't that almost more of an appreciation of Brandon in this time of NIL, where everybody leaves?
Yeah,
everybody sees greener grass. He's like an old school guy.
Yeah, I wish I could articulate like you what with your words. How much he and this group means to me. Again, 8 young men in an era. I just said this. I don't want to be a broken record, but they did not need to come back. Right. And so that motivation is driving so much of this, instead of everything else that could seep its way into a locker room. Our locker room is very motivated and very driven. Again, a lot of things that probably won't get us, a lot of awards, preseason awards, but I know what I have. I know what's driving our work, and I absolutely love it.
When you look at the new guys that are coming in too, if you can, what are your first impressions of some of the freshmen, some of the transfers as well? Obviously, they get a sense of what Wright State basketball is about. Yeah,
I think that you said it. They're trying to respect what's been done. They're trying to respect a group of older guys that have the runway to lead this team, and I'm going to empower them. They need to learn that. But they've been great. I think they've been, again, very humble in their approach, respectful in terms of not trying to come in, and this is why we recruit the way we did, that they could see a role, that they could see the people already here and not come in and try to do too much, but learn first, listen first, then speak. And they've been great, and they've added to our culture in terms of the work ethic and then athleticism. I do think we're more athletic at a few different spots and have some defensive versatility, personnel versatility to take some different looks on the floor.
What would be your approach this year for kind of changing the mindset of the defense that has been obviously a struggle point for this team the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's got to be an identity shift. It's got to be we got to be far more connected on that end of the floor. They have to be far more intelligent and aware. Again, how can we change within a possession or within a game plan of giving multiple different looks, whether it's a ball screen coverage, it's how we double the post, how we guard the ball, who we're helping. I just think there's more of an appetite with this group to take in that coaching, to take in that information. Again, they're intelligent kids. Now we just need to iron out their habits and iron them out when you're tired. I mean, that's the shift. And they understand, again, they have a great example of what maybe the best team in Horizon League history, what that can get you if you don't couple it with a great defensive identity and connectivity about you. So they know. I don't have to convince them.
Sure. Last thing for me, just what was the biggest things that you'd like to see in terms of improvement, progress, leading up into this face Kentucky?
Yeah, I think just our daily habits within what we're trying to build, mainly defensively. Just our simple, mundane intelligence, just closeouts, all that. Let that be enough. Yeah, it's the wild plays, this, that, and the other, and your scheme for sure. But just let the simplicity of the detail and the discipline of that be enough. And again, this group with where they're at, it's so far it's been there. And that I'm talking the summer, fall workouts, and now practice. It's been there. So
season for you, kind of a long grind as the off season goes, but it's almost here. How are you guys feeling?
Ready to play. But we all know how important the everyday work is for us to succeed in the season. So we're just building every day, getting better. But yeah, we're definitely ready to go against somebody else, that's for sure.
Yeah, and obviously we know a little bit about your story. We were talking to Coach about it. Trey Calvin, Tanner Holden, big guys gone. An opportunity for you to kind of step into a big role. What's that opportunity mean for you?
It means a lot. I feel like I have a lot of responsibility, kind of taken over, I would say, after guys like Trey and Tanner and guys before that have came before us. But it's all about making the guys around me better, trying to lead the team as best as I can, and then just doing whatever it takes to win. So,
what was it like last year sitting out? It was difficult. I mean, you're a basketball player.
Yeah, for sure. When the game is taken away from you, I wouldn't because of a decision I made for myself. Right. It's always tough watching the guys out there competing when you want to be out there with them. But at the same time, I thought it was the best decision for me, just to get myself back to where I was, mentally especially. So it was hard, but I wouldn't take it back for anything.
So how do you do that? How do you get yourself back? It's just you got to step away, or you have to.
I think it's
do something else.
Yeah, I think it's just working on getting better every day in the gym, and then off the course, is almost more important than on the court. Taking care of your body, stuff like that, and then at the same time, getting stronger. But it's just the same stuff like any other player that would sit out a year of playing is just working on getting better every day.
Did that decision take courage? I don't know, to make the decision, or just you go this way, then this way?
Yeah, it was definitely a big decision for me. I mean, you never want to not play the game that you love for a year. But like I said, I thought it was the right decision for me. Just looking at the future and the next 2 years that I have. So yeah, it was a big decision, a tough decision, but at the end of the day, I don't regret it.
And your basketball is different, you think, in a year with a year off, or not?
Yeah, I think anyone that is a year removed, if they're working the right way, I think they're going to get better. But I think mentally, especially, I always knew the player I was capable of being, but the first 2 years I was playing, it was more mentally. I wasn't there than anything. So I think just working on the same stuff that I've always said, working every day, and then just getting myself mentally ready for the year.
What do you feel that the identity of this team is? Is it different from last year in a way, you think?
Yeah, totally. I think Coach Sargent has brought a different energy in the building. And I think the coaching staff has done a great job of getting us ready, prepared for the year. And I think they're doing what any other coach is doing right now, just getting us prepared for the year and making sure we're getting better every day. So yeah, I think there's a different energy, a good energy in the building right now, and I think the coaches are doing a great job.
Of maybe all the things that you guys feel like that you weren't quite achieving or didn't accomplish last year, what in your mind sticks out most of something that you want to correct going into this year?
I think it's defensively. I think we all would agree on that. We haven't been where we wanted to be defensively in the past couple years. So it's really that area, just trying to get better in certain areas defensively, and then not taking plays off like we have had in the past, and then enjoying it when we're doing it. So
You come from a basketball family. When you made your decision, did you bounce it off your brother, your dad, or this was all on your shoulders?
yeah, I mean, a lot of the process was talking to them, and then my older brother, just the experiences. I mean, he played in the Horizon League for a
Right.
year, so he had experience in this league. So yeah, there was a lot of conversations with my family. I trust them with anything that comes across my way. So yeah, there was a lot of conversation with them.
What's your brother doing now?
He's now overseas in Germany.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, he finally graduated after 6 years in college. So yeah, he's moved on. He's in Germany right now.
Also, hey, Brandon, your season kind of on the horizon here for you guys. How do you feel this team, this kind of new look team, is meshing so far here? Just a few weeks ago.
Right, we got a lot of new guys, but again, we have a good core of guys that have been here, know the program, know the system, and know a good bit of the staff. Like I said, we got some new staff members too as well. But as far as that goes, we got a good blend of people that have been here, people that are new. So I feel like we're really meshing together well, just because of our communication, and it starts with leadership. We got guys up top, in the staff, and then some of the older guys in the program that are just like trying to pull the guys with them that might not know as much as those guys.
I know last year Scott would always tell us that you sometimes didn't know how good you were, and he was always trying to get more out of you. Do you feel that Clint is also doing that, and are you also self-reflecting going into this year of wanting to take that next step and that next level as a leader and as a player?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing I've been working on, ever since the season ended last year. Just a lot of personal development, off the floor. A lot of the times trying to figure out, what I'm best at, leading, what I'm best at on the basketball floor, and just trying to figure out how to merge the two, and trying to stay within myself, but still be that leader that I haven't been in the past. And I know that's a step I'm working to take, and I still need to take for us to be a good team this year.
Brandon, why'd you stay here? You could have probably gone some other place in this world of NIL and like that. Why stay?
Man, there's a lot of things that go into that decision. But I would say the biggest thing, and honestly, is the guys around me. Like these teammates, I've been around for many years. A lot of the staff members have been around for many years. And these guys just mean a lot to me. At the end of the day, those are the guys I come back to when I have problems in basketball and life and a lot of that stuff. And so to me, it's a family. Honestly, I say that and I mean that genuinely, that these are the guys that I look up to the most, whether it be my teammates and staff, like I said. So when it comes down to that, it wasn't really that hard to figure out that it's kind of where I belong. And again, there could have been money I could have chased, bigger, status, all that kind of thing I could have chased. But to me, that doesn't really matter as much as being happy and being on a program that I'm happy to be a part of.
How is that? You're kind of a rare bird. I mean, a lot of guys don't do that anymore. They get caught up in the bright lights or the money or the opportunity or whatever.
Things like that just mean a lot to me. The people around me, the people and things that I love, that's just the most important things to me. So I figured if I stay close to that, it'll take me pretty far in life.
This place gave you a chance early on too, right?
Right. The only Division I program that gave me a chance, and Coach Sargent was at the front of that when he came to my high school, that spring day. So that means a lot. And even back then when I was making that decision, I was like, I'm going to take a chance at the one school that believed in me. And I stuck it out through some of the tough things at the beginning. And I'm very happy to say that so far it's worked out well for me, and I only hope that continues.
Can you learn a lesson too? You saw Tanner leave and come back. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener, and that's a guy that from your neck of the woods down there, and you kind of looked up to. That can be a lesson, or I don't know if you ever talked to him about it. Or
Yeah, not too much, but there's two sides of how this can go. It can go well for some people, it can go not as well for others. And you see that, whether that be our program or whether it be any, numerous mid-major programs have the same instances. But again, I try to gather, all the data that you see from transfers and whatnot, and again, find out what's best for me. And like I said, I think staying here, staying put is best for me, or was best for me.
And do people make overtures to you? Did you have people trying to like fishing, throwing little red balls in front of you?
You know, I won't get into that right now,
But it's true, right?
There's definitely, I will say, you know, stepping back for a second, there definitely are people that do try and reach out, but you know, I'm not going to disclose whether that happened to me or not.
Right. All right.
For you guys too, I know it was Trey and Tanner. You guys were kind of, you know, the big three here for a little bit, and obviously Tanner left, and Alex kind of stepped in that big spot. Is it now? It's, you know, no more Trey. I mean, is it hard when such integral pieces of a team are, you know, no more, and then you guys kind of have to, like, you know, restructure of, you know, who the guys are and who's going to kind of fill those roles? Is that tricky?
That's 2,000 point scorers that aren't coming through that door anymore. They're not going to show up tomorrow for practice. So that's one of those things that we know. We all know that. So that's something that me, Alex, Keaton, Andrew, any of these older guys, Mike, Jack, Dre, I can go on. You know, the whole team has to step up to a new role that they haven't had before. And like I said earlier, you know, my whole summer has been mainly focusing on myself and trying to figure out where I fit into that role and how I can best help my team, whether that be on the basketball floor, whether that be leading in a number of ways, just trying to figure that out for myself.
Don't you feel real kind of athleticism in this? I mean, there's a lot of pieces that have been added. I've watched you guys. I don't know. It just seems like there's a real chance here this season.
Right, we're a really talented group, really athletic group, and that's two things I really like to see. We've had a lot of these teams in the past and stuff, but this team, I feel like maybe has a little more athleticism, like you mentioned. That's something cool that we can use to our benefit, especially defensively. That's one of the, again, I'm sure you've heard the guys before me talk about this. That's one of our biggest struggles from last year, and one of the things we're trying to correct the most. And I feel like athleticism and the talent that we have could really help, you know, take a stab at cutting the, you know, defensive errors down.
How could all of these people miss this guy coming out of high school? I mean, what were you, like some kind of wallflower or what?
Man, I'm just going to be honest. I wasn't the same player then as I am now. A lot happened over those first 2 years. While I wasn't on the floor, while I was sitting over there on the bench. A lot of things happened during that time that molded me into who I am today. And it's even from then, there's a lot of things that have changed. You know, I'm continuing to grow and learn from the guys around me and the guys above me. A lot of people have came before me that I try and to learn from, and that's just something like just trying to focus on what I can learn. That's something, you know, even as a fifth-year player, there's still a lot for me to learn, and continuing hopefully into a professional career, there's going to be more for me to soak up and try and to get better at, for sure.
You mentioned the athleticism, wanting to have an improved defense. Do you think that combination will help give this team? You think you want to have a little bit more edge? Is that what this group is kind of looking to have, a little bit more, I don't know, grittiness maybe this year?
Grittiness, edge, and then the biggest piece that can add to that would be IQ. Just being a really smart team, because you can be super athletic and you just not know what you're doing. It's not going to help you. But if you can merge the two, athleticism and IQ, and that gives you that edge. In my opinion, I think that's what gives you the edge that we haven't had and that we need. So I feel like the combination of, like I said, IQ and athleticism is the biggest piece we can have this year on defense.
You've really made the most of this experience as a student athlete, not going to put quote marks on student. You really have tackled the books as well, right?
Yeah, I'm a recent graduate of Wright State, and that's something that I'm super proud of. And I started my master's degree over the summer, so that's something I'll work towards over these next 2 years. I should graduate with that at the end of my sixth. I know it sounds crazy to say, but at the end of my sixth, I'm on pace to graduate with a master's degree from here. That's something I'm proud of, and that's something that'll serve me when the ball stops bouncing from me inevitably.
You get a master's in what?
Being chemistry.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be clip notes for chemistry, right?
Smarter than us.
Yeah. Nice.